Hey, empathic healers, got the question. Do you value other people and or their opinions over your own? Do you change your mind quickly and easily when you hear someone else share their opinion? Do you start to lean that way? Or do you feel confident in your own opinion and what you believe in, what your point of view is? Not necessarily to argue, debate, and fight over it or anything, but just to stand true in it. Do you feel comfortable doing that? Or again, do you sway a little easier? Are you ready to dig a little deeper? Grab your journal and journal with me. So today we are talking about self-image and love. So showing up for ourselves with love and compassion, right? In the solar plexus chakra. So welcome to the Energy Healing Lifestyle Journal Self-Care Challenge Day. What day are we on? 17. Excuse me. My name is Robin Knott, and I am your host of Energy Healing TV and podcast on YouTube, Rumble, and Spotify, and the founder of the EnergyHealingSchool.com. I'm a certified Reiki Master Teacher and have a Master of Social Work degree specializing in mental health and addiction treatment. And I'm here to teach fellow empathic healers various energy healing methods with a strong emphasis on strong focus on self-care, self-worth, and self-love, getting tongue twisted, without feelings of blame, shame, and guilt. That whole idea that self-love or self-worth and valuing yourself is selfish, we're debunking that. So if you know someone who could benefit from self-care, please share this out. Excuse me. So remember, in our process as we journal, 3-step, right? Aware, assess, and align. Pulling in that self-awareness, being aware of how we see ourselves, and then how you value yourself. Are there times when you can stand strong and feel confident and comfortable and feel really good about yourself and your point of view or your opinions? And then are there other times when maybe you're like, okay, I'll just agree with you so that we maybe to avoid conflict, right? Or I'll agree with you so that you'll accept me and that you'll like me, right? We're human. We like to be liked, right? We want to be accepted in many cases. Or I'll just follow along with you because it's easier. I don't want to get into that debate of why we think or feel differently or why we have a different point of view, right? What's that like for you? When you write in your journals, do you have that level of confidence? Do you feel safe in writing in your journals? I can remember a time where I was like, had that what if. What if somebody sees my journal? What if somebody read my journal? Like to that degree, not even wanting to write in my own private journal because of that wonder if who would see it and then how would they judge me by it. So sometimes I do share. I haven't really on this live. I used to share when I worked more one-on-one with clients. If you need to, when you're done journaling, rip it up, throw it away, right? Get rid of it. Whatever it takes for you to be open and just honest with yourself, because this is our journey, right? With self. So if you're comfortable writing in a journal and you know that it's in a safe place and you can be open and honest in it and just allow your thoughts and opinions flow, perfect. If you feel leery about that, and you're not sure who may or may not find it or see it, and you can't find a place that you feel that it's secure, write it out, reflect, rip it up. But don't deny yourself the opportunity to journal was the whole point in that. So looking at yourself, valuing yourself, having that awareness, are you aware of your thought patterns? So again, journaling really helps with that. Lets us see how we're thinking and what patterns, what do we cycle or recycle, just repeat over and over. Do I personalize a lot? Do you jump to conclusions? Do you minimize big things and then magnify small things? Like, are you pretty even keel? Do you notice that you automatically think negative thoughts versus positive thoughts? That was me a long time ago. I can remember into adulthood even, I was so programmed to think negative all the time that I couldn't think of a positive if my life depended on it, like just in having conversations even. And it always, I don't want to use that term always, those extremes is another pattern, right? Another cycle that we can repeat. Always, never. And it's not always and never. It just may seem that way, or again, it's just a habit of speaking it, but we don't want to create that either, right? Because that just feeds more of the same cycles. But I can reflect and remember a time when I don't honestly remember the full conversations, but whatever it was we were talking about, and sometimes we do have a challenge and we do have a struggle. I mean, it's human, right? It's a human experience. Of course we do. Let's normalize these things again, right? It's okay, even if you're spiritual, to have a challenge in your life. It's okay, even if you're spiritual, to struggle with your own self image sometimes. It's okay, even if you're spiritual, to feel icky sometimes, to feel blah, to feel depressed, to feel anxious, to feel overwhelmed, to feel drained. It's okay. We're still having a human experience, right? It's normal as a human being, not just human, but still, as a human being, we are still living in a human body to have human emotions. Normal. And they're not all peaches and cream, right? They're not all joyful and excitement, and it's not that they're bad for whatever reason. This is coming up today, so I think our society has made emotions bad. And I can remember again working with people when we talked about emotions. So yesterday we talked about trying to identify our emotions, right? And there was like this automatic thought that the word emotions was automatically assumed to be negative. So if you had an emotion, it meant it was bad. If you had an emotion, it meant it was like anger or sadness or frustration or anxiety or depression or what have you. Like that's just a piece or a small list of the emotions, right? There are many other emotions that we could feel too that we do like. We may not always talk about those, or I don't know, this like they were just kind of wiped off the chart somehow. Happiness is no longer an emotion, so we can't talk about that because if you have an emotion, it's bad and you probably need some mental health. Also, the term mental health is like physical health. In itself, it's just a thing to describe the type of health you're speaking about. Mental health, just those two words, doesn't say if it's quote unquote good or not good, healthy or unhealthy, until you add those descriptive words, right? So again, that too, like this assumption as soon as you say mental health, oh, craziness and blah blah blah. No, it's a term. Again, part of being human, right? We either have, I don't want to say poor, but in a sense, poor mental health where we need to work on some things, and that's most humans as well. Or we have, our mental health is in a good state. We're healthy mentally speaking, right? Choices of words are very interesting, which of course we talk about that more on when we talk about the throat chakra, the days Fridays. I keep wanting to say it's Thursday, but it's not. That's heart chakra. But on Fridays, we talk more about communication, but it's things to be mindful of because whatever we're feeling on the inside, part of our self image, right, is what we project out. So, solar plexus chakra above the belly button, right there in our belly, all about ourselves. So, what we see in ourselves, or we don't actually see in our awareness. Remember, we talk about the Johari window. There are aspects of self or patterns of self that we don't, they're not in our awareness. They're so habitual and so automated, and we're so focused on other things that we miss it. We don't even see it. Others can see it in us. They're like, that, like you're talking about, other people, but yet, and I don't necessarily mean like gossip other people, but noticing, right? If you notice someone else saying, "Oh, I notice I always repeat," and then you always repeat, and but you don't pick up on it. It's not in our awareness yet. So journaling, having conversations allows us to have that self-awareness, right? And then we can do our assessment as we do to see, sorry, my granddaughter. Um, mhm, sorry. Do that assessment to see if our ideas or our self-image, how we view ourselves, is in alignment with the source of unconditional love, right? She left the door kind of open. My mom's trying to sleep, so now I'm lowering my voice. I hope you can still hear me okay. We go through a routine, but it never fails. Even though she's like, "Yeah, I'm fine. No, I don't need the bathroom. We're good. We're good. Oh, Grandma's on live. Time to go to the bathroom. Let me do some what's that game? Charades. Let me play some charades and point some things out and see if I can just communicate with you without actually talking." It's funny. Sorry. Anyways, it's joyful though, right? It's joyful. Um, and one of my labels and titles that I absolutely adore is Grandma. So I don't mind sharing that little tidbit with you. If our opinion of ourselves, if our self esteem, if our self value, if our self worth is not in alignment with the source of unconditional love, what is one action step we can take to shift it, right? So when I know I'm beating myself up, that's not in alignment with the source of unconditional love. Use the hand, turn the knob. There you go. Easy. Wasn't easy. Kid. When we blame, shame, and guilt ourselves, that is not in alignment with the source of unconditional love, right? Being aware of our patterns of thinking is can help us shift into that. Journaling absolutely can help us shift into, right, the source of unconditional love. It may not be quick and automatic, but that's okay. We're not here for quick fixes, right? We're here to continue a process, a healing process. That's why I call it an energy healing lifestyle. So whether you um, like practice, if you're an energy healer and you practice, or not, whether you're just not even recognizing that you just being you is healing and that the body knows how to heal itself, and that we, with our thoughts and with our emotions, can reprogram ourselves, and that we can support our own bodies in healing and our own minds in healing and healing our emotions and all the things and our energy. Either way, it's a lifestyle. It's formulating new habits to take care of ourselves, right? To show up with our to show up for ourselves with love and compassion. So as we write in our journals, as we vent in our journals, as we reflect back and see how we write and we see what those patterns are, when I start writing about me, right, that statement, I am, we've talked about this before on these lives, these videos, when you write, when you just free flow and write, I am, what comes after that? What do you say about you? What do you think about you? What do you feel about you? And again, free flow, just let whatever comes up, just write it and write it and write it and write it. And what else? Keep asking yourself, what else? What else? What else? What else? What else? See how deep you can go till you can't think of anything more. Wait a few minutes, try again, right? Just sit with it. See what comes up. Allow it to come up into your awareness. And then go back and look at it because we get to decide, right? Every new moment is an opportunity. If we take it, every new moment is an opportunity, but we have to be mindful of it. We have to have that awareness of it, right? Otherwise, it kind of passes us by because we're focused on something outside of us, or we're just cycling in patterns, the hamster wheel of the mind. But every new moment's an opportunity. And again, journaling gives us an opportunity to look at it to check in on our patterns. Yeah. So let me check my journal again. See, got it ready. I don't use yellow pen to write because I don't think I could see that very well. What else did I write that came up that I wanted to share for our live today? And don't get me wrong when I say that we don't beat ourselves up. I just mean that. We don't beat ourselves up, but we still own our stuff. And that in itself can be challenging. So if you find that you aren't always forthcoming, right? Maybe you don't completely tell on yourself. Maybe you try to not maliciously, but cover it up because there's that fear of what if someone finds out, right? That's an indicator of our self-worth. When we feel like we have to hide something, hide ourselves, there's a lower level of self-worth, right? Because why do I feel that I can't show up like other people do? Why do I feel like I can't own my stuff or make mistakes like humans do? Why do I feel like I can't communicate my thoughts and feelings, right? Why do I feel like I have to hide or fix it behind the scenes kind of thing? That is an indicator again of low self-worth. So if you find yourself doing that, that would be another good journaling prompt, if you will, right? What am I afraid of? What keeps me from being open and honest? What keeps me from sharing with other people? See what comes up with that, right? And again, when you go through that journaling process and when you can start to see what gets in your way of sharing and why it seems scary to show up or be honest and own your stuff or say that you make mistakes. What is in that assessment process, right? Because that's not in alignment with the source of unconditional love. That's more of that beating ourselves down and blame, shame, and guilt, right? Having high expectations that we can't make mistakes. So, what is a step you can take then to shift that and move closer into the energy of the source of unconditional love? Showing yourself love and compassion, right? So, in self care, our acronym today, the letter L is love, and the solar plexus is about yourself. So, showing yourself the same love and compassion you would show to others, allowing yourself to build on your self worth. And again, not grandiose, egoic, icky stuff, right? But just you being you. And what does that feel like? So, again, checking my journal to see if there's anything else I want to add before we wrap up for today. Also, ask yourself, do you believe that you are capable of contributing in the world? Like, do you feel that you have purpose? Do you wake up in the day and just know that you have a purpose and a reason for being here? Or do you get kind of sucked into that? Like, why am I even here? Yeah, I mean, I've been there. But I definitely address that and journal that and call that out, right? Because that's just old pattern, old programs, old egoic stuff. And you are so much more than that, right? We are more than the human. We are more than this body. We are more than these patterns and these cycles that we tend to repeat. We are more than the programs that we were conditioned with. We have a soul, we have a spirit, right? So shifting into that, bringing more of that into you, into your being, into the forefront, which is part of that love and compassion that you bring to the ego self. Again, not beating it down. It's not, you know better than that. And why do you do that? There's just more of that same old stuff, right? Mm. And then why is this important? Just a refresher. Why do we do this? Journaling, addressing our energy, shifting our energy, for one, makes us feel better. Like, that's usually a goal. Most of us want to feel good. Most of us want to feel joy and happiness and love, right? Doing these processes when we have life. again, it's normal for humans to have quote unquote challenges, right? We're not meant to be perfect. We have layers upon layers of stuff that we heal and that we clear. And I believe that if we didn't, we wouldn't be here. And if we didn't have purpose, we wouldn't be here. Just that simple. We don't have to know all the ins and outs and details and so on and so forth. But if we didn't have the purpose, we just wouldn't be here. Go ahead, plug it in. You're good. More charades. Trying to ask me something without speaking. So, with that being said, homework, of course, check in with yourself, right? Journal on whatever is coming up. Allow it to free flow so that you can build more awareness, and then assess what you see. Is it in alignment with the source of unconditional love? If it's not, no blame, shame, and guilt. That's okay. What would be an action step you can take to then shift into the energy of the source of unconditional love? And again, it's not saying, oh, I can't feel this way. I have to quickly do something different. It's just saying, I'm aware of it. It's not in alignment with the source of unconditional love. My action step is to hold space for it. My action step is to acknowledge it. My action step is to meet it with love and compassion, right? Just feel it to heal it. That is a big action step. So again, we're not shoving it aside. We're not renaming it. We're not dismissing it. Meet it with love and compassion. Hold space for it. Massive shifts after that. And, right, so if you haven't already, of course, sign up for the Empathic Healers Masterclass, a step-by-step guide to set boundaries and protect your energy, which again is huge. And what we just talked about today, do you have good boundaries? Do you maintain good boundaries? Again, as I've shared before, it's interesting that it seems sometimes we'll wait, or it takes that moment of there's a conflict or contrast in a relationship, and then we say, oh, I'm going to need to set boundaries. Why didn't we set boundaries to begin with, right? We should just have boundaries. We should have boundaries set and then maintain them. And then it's okay to notice when we're like, ooh, I'm slipping, right? I pulled away from my boundary and I need to reset that. It's okay, it's normal human, but I'm just saying that it's interesting that oftentimes we just don't even consider our boundaries until something happens. So to pull this into our daily journaling process and then using this masterclass, right? When you come to the masterclass, we'll talk more about that. Having that built into our daily practices, it's one of the ways we help protect our energy, right? So that what we talk about again in the masterclass, protecting our energy and setting our boundaries, right? Releasing things that isn't ours. Then, of course, meet me back here tomorrow to talk about forgiveness and transformation in the heart chakra. And if you have not yet seen, I've been trying to share it everywhere I could. I can't seem to get it on Rumble and Spotify though. I was interviewed today for my first spiritual awakening story. I got to share that. So my real first time ever sharing that with Iona Mead. So if you go to on YouTube, Soul Legacy TV, you'll be able to see those. And I think mine was episode 5. I want to say it was episode 5. Pretty sure. You'll see me though. Scroll through, you'll see my face and my name. I really enjoyed that. So I hope that you get a chance to watch that. Um, yeah. So take good care of you. Thank you for sharing your time and space, whether you hopped on live or on the replay, and I will see you soon. Bye, guys.